If IGN told me the sky was blue, I would go outside and check. You can't trust these people. These guys have got to be some of the most vanilla brain-dead people to ever walk the earth. Every time an IGN employee checks into a hotel, they have to make sure that there's a chair in the corner of the room. We all know why, don't we? The quartering will definitely know why. Wink wink to anybody who gets that reference. Let me know in the comments if you get what I'm saying. Hit the like button and subscribe, baby. We are going to live stream very soon, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring my bell. Now, IGN, who I like to call the Ignorant Gamers Network, came out with a review a few days ago on the video game Mouse PI, and it can easily be summed up as, they didn't pay us, 6 out of 10, Ignorant Gamers Network score. I actually think one of the biggest mistakes some of these game developers make is that they don't leave enough money in their budget on the side to bribe IGN for a good review. Because you don't hate game journalists enough, and I can never forgive the Ignorant Gamers Network, IGN, for their just horrible Alien Isolation review. That was one of the best horror games ever made, and IGN just stepped all over it because they weren't bribed. Journalism used to be the watchdogs of the masses. Now they're just arseholes who give Concord a 7 and Mouse PI a 6 and Crimson Desert a 6. And if you haven't gotten the memo, every time IGN rates something low like a 6, that usually means a game is like an 8 or a 9. Because remember, these are the same morons, the same lunatics who couldn't even get past a Cuphead tutorial. We need gamers reviewing these games. Just like when you watch sports, you see the actual players reviewing the game. Like when you're watching football or basketball, you see previous players talking about it. That is what we need in the gaming industry now. Whether Mouse PI deserves criticism or not, the reality is IGN is just not a reliable source for that kind of information. There's just too many smoke and mirrors behind the curtain. Now, this reviewer gets a 3 out of 10 for being so dorky and annoying. Being annoying has to be one of the worst things you can be, and this guy has to be the biggest cornball ever. You know, maybe it's time to look for another profession, but the thing is you can't find one. Because the most masculine thing you've ever done in your life is sitting down to pee on a toilet. Now, part of me wishes that the person reviewing this game is a cat. Yeah, a cat, because then the hate would be warranted. I could see you hating on mice. Because at least then, the bias would be somewhat understandable. Journalists like this guy and the Dean fella who failed at the Cuphead intro makes me question how they even get their jobs in the first place. This video by IGN has like 19,000 dislikes. I don't even know how that's possible. I've been doing YouTube for quite a lot of years now. I couldn't even get that many dislikes if I tried. I mean, these guys must be just farming engagement. Look, every single one of these dislikes are warranted. Because part of me feels bad for the reviewer. I'll tell you why. Because he's probably never seen a cartoon in his life. Because this crackhead seriously looked at a satirical game inspired by 1930s Mickey Mouse cartoons and expected it to play like LA Noir or something. Are you insane? Did you bang your head somewhere? Expecting realism from a plot where you play as a mouse is crazy to me. That's like getting mad and saying that Lego Star Wars is just so bad because it leans into comedy and doesn't take itself too seriously. That's the whole point of the game, you absolute freak. The characters are supposed to act in ways that they wouldn't in the original films. That's kind of the point. Anyway, according to IGN, Mouse PI is bad because it's too cartoony and isn't realistic and doesn't take itself too seriously. That's essentially what this review said, and my favorite part of this review, though, is when the guy says, the shotgun can feel weak when you use it. And while he's saying that, he proceeds to use the shotgun, absolutely dominating multiple enemies at once, Doom style. I mean, even within his review, he's being contradicted by the gameplay. Actually, hold on, let me take that back. That's my second favorite part of the review. My favorite part is when he says there's just too much cheese puns. You can't actually be serious. You're upset because it has puns about cheese. Oh my god, I guess you could say there's too many pirates in Sea of Thieves, or there's too many football players in FIFA, or too many blocks in Minecraft. I mean, saying that there's too much cheese in a game about mice is like saying there's too much bananas in a game about Donkey Kong. I mean, what were you expecting? It's a satirical game about mice. Maybe, just maybe, all the references to cheese is just the nicest way its own form of slang terms. I mean, we as humans use a ton of slang about dumb words. But this is what this guy actually said, and the irony is that this stupid moron at IGN who reviewed this is complaining about the amount of cheese jokes in a game and frequently makes cheesy jokes himself in this review. So maybe you should take your own advice. I don't know, maybe he's lactose and intolerant and he's just so upset he can't eat cheese. I don't know. If I was the developer of Mouse PI, I would absolutely run with the idea it's 6 out of 10, too much cheese. Ignorant Gamers Network score on all of their promotional material. Anyway, listen, that's like buying, I don't know, like a blueberry shortcake and then saying there's too many blueberries. Anyway, this guy is the kind of guy to walk out of a comedy movie and just say it's 6 out of 10, there's too many comedy jokes. Anyway, listen, he says something around 2 minutes 30 seconds in. He complains about the fact that there's an alligator boss fight in the sewers. He's like, oh my god, there's an alligator boss fight because of course there is. Like he's actually complaining about that. Because what were you expecting? Were you expecting, I don't know, Godzilla in the sewers? It's an alligator with a machine gun. Who cares? I like it. But yeah, anyway, imagine complaining about the fact that there's an alligator boss fight. I don't even know why that's a negative thing. Maybe he should explain that one a little better. It just seems like to me you're just picking away at something for absolutely no reason at all. Anyway, I'm 100% positive after talking about this on here, I can just say that IGN is doing this on purpose at this point. Because either IGN hires people like this to be intentionally abrasive to go more viral, so people will hate on their review and will come around just to trash them for it, or they genuinely hire the most corpo-brained morons. I don't know, you tell me in the comments what you think. Because I don't know myself, I'm in the middle with that one. But you know what? Some people's jobs need to be taken over by AI. It's very rare that I say this, but developers who did this need to get their pushed in. Get these guys the hell out and replace them with soulless, emotionless robots. Because I have more faith in those robots than the bloody IGN reviewers. It's gotten that bad. As far as my experience with the game goes, I think the developers did a good job. They have a lot of talent. I'm sure they'll make only better games than this with a larger budget. I'm still in the middle of playing it myself, but to give it a 6 is absolutely wild for what this game brings to the table. I mean, I love the game's charm, the comedy moments, the different cute little references here and there. It made me smile and it made me laugh. It was well worth the money. I like the voice acting, the price point, and the overall fun and novel old school feel of those old Mickey Mouse films. Anyway, listen, I just want to double back on something I said earlier. These writers, these reviewers, couldn't get writing jobs anywhere else on different publications, different political websites. Think about it. They didn't spend all that money and all that time on a useless journalism degree so they can deal with the unwashed gamer masses like us. Trust me, they wanted to work for the New York Times, but they had to settle for IGN. The thing is, they don't play video games, they actually hate video games. So now they have to find a way to inject their weird, highfalutin, speculative video essays into whatever poor gamers within their crosshairs. And if it's an indie game that doesn't line their pockets, you better watch out. Now, while I was listening to this review, he said at the beginning that he's a huge noir film fan. That was massively disappointed that this wasn't a serious noir title like LA Noire. I wanted to take a step back and think about it. This is a game about mouse detectives. I mean, what were you expecting? Sin City? I mean, he even acknowledged that it never meant to be a serious noir title. But yeah, he still held it against the game. He's a complete fraud, a complete charlatan. It seems like every fictional piece of media has to make sense, otherwise the reviewers get mad that it's bad. Because now we have a cartoon game getting overly criticized for being too cartoonish. I mean, what world are we living in? And on that bombshell, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be reading as usual. I'll be very interested to hear what you say. Manix out.